than any of us thought.
He said Weiss was, and I'm quoting here, murdering 60 Minutes.
Senior staff wiped out after a triumphal year. Our very best correspondents summarily fired for no stated reason. The president of CBS News, Tom Sabrowski, sent me a note and said, "Can you come by and talk to us?" And I said, "Absolutely." I walk in the door and I see Barry Weiss is sitting in there, and I think, this is terrific of her. She's come to this meeting. Before I could take my seat, Tom Sabrowski said, "This is a firing offense." And they were unhappy about the meeting that had occurred, a meeting that had ended in thunderous applause for me because somebody had stood up for the broadcast. I turned to Barry Weiss, who was sitting to my left, and I said, "Let's talk about the firings. Why were the firings necessary?" I'm not answering that question. Not long after that, the email came through and said that I'd been fired. The people running CBS News will not be questioned. Lawsuit against 60 Minutes caused a great deal of concern in 60 Minutes. Paying the bribe broke our hearts, but they did it to get the sale through. My colleagues and I thought, great, that's behind us. We have bright new leadership, financial resources. We're in better shape than we were before.
Barry Weiss is a former opinion writer at the New York Times who left there in a blaze of glory, claiming that was bias at the New York Times, and started her own publication called the Free Press. After the Paramount Skydance merger, David Ellison installed her as editor-in-chief of CBS News. Now, she has zero television running experience. She has never run a broadcast news organization, never managed a global news operation in her life. And Scott Pelley, 37 years at CBS News. Now, let me tell you what led Scott Pelley to that room. Because it was not one thing. It was months of watching colleagues fired for refusing to bend. It started in December when Weiss pulled Sharon Alfonsi's story about Trump's deportation policies at the El Salvador prison, CICAT. This show had gone through standards and practices. She said it needed a comment from a Trump administration official. The administration, Barry Weiss, reportedly had already declined to participate. And Alfonsi sent an email to her colleagues that said everything. She wrote, "If the administration's refusal to participate becomes a valid reason to spike a story, we have effectively handed them a kill switch for any reporting they find inconvenient."
Before he could even take his seat, Sabrowski told him this is a firing offense. That's what Sabrowski told, Scott Pelley. And what was the offense? Pelley had held a staff meeting, and in that meeting, people applauded him for, in his words, quote unquote, as you heard it, standing up for the broadcast.